So today I'm uppotting my citrus trees that I started from seed. And if you at all know what different types of citrus I'm looking at right here, I would very much appreciate it, because as what typically happens when you plant seeds, sometimes you lose labels and tags, and I had the pots marked, and I ended up removing all the pots and then realizing I didn't transfer any way of telling what was what when I uppotted them into these containers the first time. And as you can see though, we are getting some yellowing, and they just really need to be uppotted. And so here are the 5 pots I'm going to be moving them all into. And if you notice, I'm actually using a native soil and compost mix. And you could just use soil from a forest near you or wherever. You just have to make sure it doesn't have anything really bad in it, because recently I actually found some hammerhead worms in a compost pile, so that was not cool. But yeah, usually I have really good results and have seen people have really good results from growing citrus and other things in a native soil, clay, composty sort of mix like this. I saw it confirmed with a YouTube channel called The Mulberries, which is all into growing citrus and a variety of other things. And if you have time, I would definitely check them out. They have a lot of great information on cold hardy citrus, and they actually are in the North Carolina area not too far from me, so it's really cool. Now I am running low on soil, and so I added in some sand, and that's completely optional. So now I'm going to go ahead and start mixing this together, making sure it's incorporated into that native soil pretty well. Alright, so I went through and got all the large chunks of clay broken up and incorporated that sand into the pots. So now let's take this one right here. Hopefully it comes out pretty easily. I got these pots from Dollar Tree actually for like $1.25. And they look pretty decent for that price, and they got the job done. But they're not the easiest to get plants out of, especially when they're rooting through the bottom. There we go. Okay, so yep, as you can see, a fair bit root bound. Quite a bit root bound, and definitely needing an up pot. Because of how much it's root bound, I kind of wanted to break up these roots down here and make sure that they're not continuing to cycle and spiral around the bottom of the container too much. There we go. That should be good. Okay. Same story with this one. Just breaking these up. Now, you might be wondering, why'd you go to all the effort to grow seed-started citrus? And it's because, if you look right here, we have 2 different trunks. And that is because of the seed that I grew this from being a polyembrionic seed instead of a monoembryonic, which means it's just a fancy word of saying that the seed had multiple seeds in it. And so, to my understanding, whenever you have a polyembryonic seed with multiple stems like this, you are running a good chance that one of them may be a hybrid that is true to type. Now, that isn't always the case, and usually the actually genetic crosses are the most vigorous, like these 2 for instance, and then the hybrid can be usually the least vigorous out of them all. And I don't know if that is true for sure, but it's what I'm understanding so far when it comes to growing things that have a potential of growing a polyembryonic seed. Alrighty, and this is the last one. Just breaking this up again. I'm just backfilling and filling the sides of the container back up, and actually it's good to see how many little worms we got in this soil right here. That's awesome. Just going around and pushing it down into the sides, not wanting to leave any air gaps. And if you want to learn more about polyembryonic seeds, I would highly suggest checking out QT Tropicals, based out of Arizona, and also the Mulberries, based out of North Carolina. They both have mentioned and talked about polyembryonic seeds quite a bit in a few of their videos, and explain the subject a little bit better than I think I can. Now, if I remember correctly, I believe these citrus are going into their 3rd year. And I believe in 2022 is when I started them from seed, and they were roughly about this size come 3 years ago. And there we go, all potted up and in their new homes with some fresh soil, and they should do quite a bit better now. Hopefully we'll get another flush of growth before the season's out. Probably a reason why they aren't all that large, because typically I think maybe a foot to 18 inches, and then a couple of these are pushing like 2 feet, maybe a little bit more, is because I haven't used very much fertilizer on them or anything like that. So hopefully this video inspires you to consider growing more things from seed because of the potential of them growing true to type or fruiting in a much shorter amount of time than what is typically mentioned as how long it takes to grow these from seed. And let me know if you've had any experience growing citrus from seed and how well that went for you or not. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.